Hey y'all, Lone Librarian here. I recorded a video previously in response to Sarkazz's response to the woman asking about her vibrator, purchasing a vibrator for her daughter. But the video was too long, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how to edit it and cut it in two parts. So I'm making another one. Anyway, now I have a timer in front of me, so I know when it's getting close to 10 minutes. Excuse me. So, in response to the video, this is a topic that I feel very passionately about because I am very much for female education, especially about female sexuality. I think more often than not, in general, in my opinion, females we carry a lot of baggage and burden when it comes to our sexuality, how to deal with it, how to come to terms with it, and how to, in effect, get what we want from ourselves and from our partners. I watched the same show with that Oprah had the Dr. Berman on there talking about, teaching girls to own their sexuality and maybe even find pleasure with themselves, masturbate and stuff like that. I think the reason why it sounds weird and off to us, to a lot of us, is because it is not something that is normal in our society, which is fair. Eventually, things change and stuff will take time. But what is more normal is for us to put things, hide things, shh about things, spank hit a girl's hand if she's touching down there, or if she likes sex or enjoys sex, or is somebody who may be a little bit more sexual than the girl next to her, not necessarily in practicing, but maybe in feeling, we are quick to judge and quick to put in a category as being promiscuous and nothing good is ever going to come out of it. You have mothers, grandmothers, aunts, telling a young girl, if she's asking questions about herself, that, that's something that a proper lady should not do or think about or talk about. In response to something that you said about when you don't teach a little boy how to, spank the monkey, so to speak. Yeah, because the little boy pretty much gets his leeway all throughout his life. When the little boy is spanking his monkey and playing with his wee-wee when he's younger, everybody's laughing. Oh, it's so cute, look at him, he's so cute, he's so silly. Now, when the little girl is doing that, my experience, from what I've seen, it's not the same reaction. It's more of, bad little girl, why are you touching down there? You're not supposed to. As in, bad. So, whatever the little girl feels that is good, quote unquote, pleasurable from any of that stuff, she learns at a pretty young age that she is wrong for feeling that way. And then fast forward, she goes into grade school. Of course, there's isolation and feeling alone and whatever, and hormones and all that stuff, being a teenager. But not only that, let that girl be, maybe not like her friends in some way. Maybe she has had an orgasm, and her friends are talking about it, whatever, and they've never had one. Or her friends have had an orgasm, and she's never had one. She doesn't understand, if something's wrong with her, or whatever. My point in saying all this is just, I think the best solution really is for us really to start talking more about sex in reality. Not sex ideally, but sex reality. And I think we started. The fact that we, thanks to the Obama administration, they have lifted the ban on, well, not the ban, but legislation has finally been passed to, make more accessible birth control pills and other methods of birth control to girls who cannot afford birth control otherwise. Now, that is great. There was a time when people were saying that would be a license for girls to go out there and be promiscuous, or giving out condoms in schools will be licensed to go out and fuck whoever you want. Obviously, that's not the case. Obviously, realistically speaking, people are going to fuck no matter what. No matter how young they are, as long as that urge is there, If there is a will, there is a way. Simple as that. We all grew up. We all know those parties. We all know those little situations that happen where bada bing, bada boom. Before you know it, you're like, you've done it. And you're like, what happened? So those situations, hopefully, you hope for your daughter or your sibling or whatever that they don't happen. But at the very least, I think the best we can do to prepare for them is to educate. Now, to me personally, there's such a thing as education and just throwing a whole bunch of information at somebody hoping that something will stick. I'm an advocate for education where education to me means open dialogue, where yes, I will tell you about stuff, but please, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it in relation to how you feel, what's going on with you, etc., etc. And honestly, I think it would be great if parents and their daughters had more of these conversations. Perhaps it might help us as women in general have better self-esteem, have better self-worth, not be so quick to use our bodies as bargaining chips, as in, here, you can have my body as long as you like me in return or you love me in return. So ultimately, I think what Dr. Berman was trying to put across, besides the sensational aspect of it, was teaching girls how to own themselves in every way possible, sexuality included. Because it's one thing to teach a girl self-esteem through sports and homework and doing well in school. You cannot ignore every part of her. And sex is very much a part of a human being and a girl growing up. So in my opinion, I would rather we spend time as a society, and I think that's what Dr. Berman is trying to put across, figuring out ways, age-appropriate, realistic ways to educate and inform our young people about sex in all of its facets. Not just STDs and pregnancies, but also the quote-unquote good stuff that seems to be hidden, that feels like, hidden candy when they find it. So, in answering, in my opinion, for that lady who's asking about a vibrator for her daughter, that to me feels kind of extreme. My first question would be, are you talking to your daughter? Do you have open communication with your daughter? I don't have children. I'll be the first one to say that I don't have children. I'm not necessarily planning on having children anytime soon. But I'm young enough that it wasn't too long ago when I went through what your daughter is going through. And what I really needed and wanted at the time was somebody I could talk to. Somebody who would answer my questions without judging me, without talking down on me like I was stupid. So my first question to you would be, are you talking with your daughter? Does she feel safe coming to you about issues that she has? Does she feel safe talking to you about certain things? She might not want to talk to you about everything, but certain things. And, sometimes it's better, even though she will go do stuff that you might not want her to do, if she feels like she can come talk to you, at least she can come talk to you. And that's worth something, believe me. Because there's nothing worse than feeling ashamed, feeling bad about yourself, and keeping that internalized, and carrying it on through your adulthood. And it affects every relationship that you're in later on, especially sexually. Because while we may not want to believe that little kids are sexual, that stuff carries on to later on in life. It's a simple fact. I'm not, I didn't pull this out my ass. It's a simple fact. So why don't we find a way to deal with the stuff somehow early on before it becomes a problem? And in this case, in my opinion, it's self-worth, feeling of I have to just do what comes. If a guy says, yeah, let's do it, I feel compelled to just go ahead and go along for the ride, as opposed to saying, you know what, no, I'm fine, I want to be picky, I'm going to be choosy because I can do for myself, and you better be showing up with something for me to allow you to do anything for and to me. So I'm going to stop recording right now. And I hope what I said made some kind of sense. Peace.